This is Mark Newman, Chief Analyst at TM Forum. I'm here today with Apostolos Kallis. Apostolos is a CCO at ETIYA. And we're just going to give some few thoughts about the impact of the pandemic and future telco priorities. So, Apostolos, we're just coming out of 2 years of pandemic and lockdown. What impact have you seen in terms of telecoms operator priorities for investment and which technologies they're using?
Yeah, it's certainly been a very challenging couple of years, Mark. I think, as with most industries, there has been the most obvious impact has been a delay in terms of the timing of certain projects. So a lot of what a number of telcos had planned in terms of, transformation projects or standalone replacement of systems, as well as 5G investments, has been put on hold. We're starting to see green shoots, so we are seeing lots of projects now back on the table and a reprioritization in terms of IT investments. But certainly over the last couple of years, we did experience delays and in some cases cancellations of what were planned investments.
And I guess even when you had projects, you had to do them virtually. So I guess that's a challenging situation for you and for your customers.
It is. I do think that the telecom industry was quite well versed in terms of delivering projects remotely. We operate in a business where we serve customers all over the world, so we were quite used to having the majority of our delivery teams remote. But it has made it more challenging in that there's less time to, less of an opportunity rather to spend time with customers on site, on their premises.
Yeah. So hopefully now things seem to be improving around the world, and fingers crossed that continues to be the case. But if we're brave enough to look forward the next 5 years, shall we say, from your perspective, what are the key technologies for the industry?
Yeah, well, I think 5G certainly has a very big role to play in terms of the future investment portfolio of most telecom service providers and the supplier community for that matter. So we haven't seen the sort of rollout en masse of 5G in most countries, but that's now starting to come into effect, and it's such a huge investment on the telecom industry's part that a lot of the additional investments they make will be to make sure that they reap the benefits of that investment in 5G. So how can they monetize new services, and how can they attract new customers? How can they broaden their partnerships through this investment in 5G? And of course, for companies like us, we have a role to play in enabling that and in unlocking that capability that telcos are looking for in terms of being able to monetize 5G services.
And in terms of that monetization, do you feel that there's a reasonably clear picture emerging in terms of the capabilities that telcos need to monetize, or are we still in the fairly early phases of discovering what those services are, what the use cases are, where telcos sit in the value chain?
I think there's been a lot of effort has been put into developing those use cases. So I think, broadly speaking, if you look at industries like gaming, for example, or healthcare or government, there's been quite a lot of work that's already been done in terms of building, the use cases around 5G and working with other ecosystem players to determine, what's the right market to focus on. What are the type of rich services that consumers will be able to benefit as a result of this investment and these synergies? But there's a lot that's yet to come. So I do think that we're in a fairly early stage in terms of being able to see the reality of this investment come to life.
About how companies such as operators terms of your roadmap, in terms of solutions, technologies, capabilities?
Yeah. Well, looking at 5G, we've already started down a path of supporting telcos with our 5G slicing platform. So allowing them to develop use cases to explore new monetization paths through slicing of BSS services. And that's already starting to take shape. And we're seeing some really interesting outputs from that. Going beyond 5G and looking beyond 5G, I think what started as this path towards personalization and being able to offer rich services to customers, much more personalized services, I think means that we continue to invest in things like cloud native. We continue to invest in microservices and in developing AI-driven types of capabilities for telecom customers. So, I would say that those are the three main axes. I would say it's investing in our microservices-driven architecture. It's continuing to invest in artificial intelligence and the capabilities that come with machine learning and natural language processing. But it's also, continuing this investment towards highly personalized customer experience that is enabled through the ETIYA platform and the ETIYA product stack.
And in terms of some of those more sophisticated capabilities, be it around use of AI, machine learning tools, network slicing, do you sense that telcos are ready to make those investments, or are we still a year, 2 years away from that?
Well, certainly, ETIYA has the privilege of working with customers all over the world, and certainly some markets are more advanced than others. So some of our customers in North America and Southeast Asia seem to be slightly more advanced in terms of their adoption rates. I think what's true in most cases is that we're seeing a fairly gradual investment from telcos in these areas. So I don't see a lot of big sweep investments and ambitious plans to sort of radically change overnight. What you do see instead is gradual piecemeal investments in things like AI and machine learning, where you start seeing the impact of artificial intelligence across different types of services and across different departments. So,
and I guess that shift towards more of a component-based microservice architecture is helpful in that regard, because you can look at investing in that incremental way, as you suggest.
It certainly is, and it's also very much tied to this ambition that telcos have had, which is not new, of becoming true digital service enablers. So, being able to have microservices driven architectures is very closely tied to their telcos' ability to partner with a whole range of new types of customers and new types of partners, rather, and offer all kinds of new services on top of their existing traditional services.
Well, Apostolos, I wish you every success with your efforts to partner telcos towards their future success, and it's been great fun talking to you today. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time, Mark. I appreciate it.